Hi, it's Jane, and I am going to do a little bit of ball winding today. You guys are crooked, but hey, it's been that kind of a day. That's all I'm going to say. I had worked on some of the bags and was hoping to be able to get those ready to go, and everything under the sun kept happening. One of the things, unfortunately, sometimes your machine's not cooperating, and today was one of those days. The machine was like, nope, thank you for the opportunity. We'll see you again next week. Or next time. So, anyway, and then I had to talk with the insurance people about the window. And kind of sounds like they're trying to weasel out of having to fix it, which I'm not too thrilled about. But other than that, my day has been peachy keen. Had to wash the curtains this morning off the front door, and the cats, they loved every minute of that. They could look out the window. The window's there. Because I have a tote that's right by the front door that has my whips in it. And they were having a blast. Over there just staring away at them. Staring out the window. And cars would go by and they had to check them all out. And they had to talk to the cars. And we had the flies somehow survived. They've not been able to catch it, so every once in a while the fly'd come by and give them a little distraction, and they'd take off through the house, chasing it. You know, sometimes I wonder about the animals. But how's your day going? How has your anything gotten in the way of what you would like to have done today? And those of you that work, I'm sorry. I really am. There are perks to being retired, but sometimes I'm not sure what they are. I had switched my drugs from CVS over a different pharmacy, and the main reason was I was told that I was being overcharged, and I was. I mean, I was paying $45 every 3 months for a medication that with this new pharmacy is zero copay. Now, it's not listed as a preferred pharmacy. However, that was the suggestion to go with it because it does act like a preferred pharmacy with the insurance that I have. And there's a part of me that goes, why do they keep that stuff secret? I don't know about you, but I'm not looking forward to a 75% increase for next year. And those of you that don't understand what that's about, that was built into the original insurance with the Obamacare. So it's finally hit us. We get to pay the increase and catch up. So when you hear talks of people losing their insurance, it's probably most likely due to that, not anything else. The color on this yarn is Windsor Blue. Thought it looked familiar. I don't even know if they make Windsor blue anymore. Do they? Be interesting to see if they did, right? Oh, goodness. Such a mess. I do find what's going on in our world seems to be a little on the crazy side. I don't know why people are so bent out of shape about some white woman that wore a pair of jeans, but boy, people are just acting like idiots over some of this stuff. I mean, is there anything that is acceptable to folks like that? I mean, we're not allowed to have a white woman in a pair of jeans. Not allowed to have, it's got to have what I consider some fairly ugly people. I'm sorry, I don't consider a woman with blue hair, nose ring, and whatever very attractive. But I do find it funny because what I keep hearing is American Jeans is completely sold out in most of their stores. So the outrage boomeranged in many ways. It's because the American people have spoken. And honestly, I could care less about the skin color of the person that's doing these advertisings. And I just think it's interesting. We had, my friend was sending me this video on TikTok. She goes, "Are you going to do this?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to do that because why would I do a lizard that's just making noise? That's not my style anyway." Normally I just do the water talks. Sometimes I do other things. I was thinking about addressing something, but I'm not sure that I want to do that there. I'm just having fun with TikTok. Just enjoying it. And the water, fortunately, it helps me to stay good and hydrated, getting those fluids in. Where'd her pen go? There it is. But it's helping me to make sure that I am getting enough fluids. Some of the medications I'm on are somewhat dehydrating. So you really have to watch the amount of fluids that you drink. You need to keep a certain amount in your body. So I've been doing that, trying to make sure I'm getting enough fluids. This one's a lighter one. Maybe it'll go to gold. But some of the combinations are rather interesting. I do have another one coming up that has that cotton candy in it, and there are certain flavors that I think are just too sweet. Cotton candy is one of those. Never been the type of person that could just eat cotton candy. I could take a bite of it and that'd be about all I'd want. I couldn't eat a whole package or a whole, cone when they hand those out. Plus, I always thought it was kind of expensive for a tablespoon, quarter cup of sugar, $6 at the fair, so I always avoided it. My big guilty pleasure when I was at carnivals or festivals or fairs has always been funnel cake. Whether it's just sprinkled with powdered sugar, or if it's topped with chocolate or strawberries or peaches or whatever, I'm there. I'm down for that. So. What are some of your go-tos when you go to the fair? My mother used to like the candied apples. I liked caramel apples, but the candy apples were, they're okay. They're candy apples. I didn't see what the big to-do was about those, but I think my older sister was a fan of candied apples too. Caramel apples, yes. But the size of the apples that they gave you were humongous. So you had to save it and eat half of it and then eat half the next day. I have always been more of a tart person. When I was younger, I used to eat lemons, just cutting lemons and eating lemons. And then I developed an insensitivity to them to where they caused problems for me. Ronin. He's trying to play with the ball. He's such a funny cat. He has become so needy lately, and I'm positive he's OCD. He will come and sit at my feet and stare at me, then look over at the mouse, like, come on, let's play. He just is. He's crazy about his mouse. Can't say I blame him. He's a cat. Isn't that what cats do? Trying to find the reds. Have a couple of balls of red, so. Trying to find those so I can get those wound up. And I have one little bit that is variegated. So, trying to decide if I want to do the variegated first. Then that one, followed up by this. Maybe the variegation in between. I think I'm going to go with the variation in between. Why not? Right? Let's have fun. But anyway, Ronin has gotten to where he's totally OCD. He would like to play that mouse fetch game all day long. And I'm like, he even comes to me while I'm in the sewing room. And gives me the look like, come on, let's play. Like, no, Ronin, let's not play. Go play by yourself. Go play with sister. Go take a nap. Cats are supposed to sleep a lot. Come on. Give me a break. Yeah, he's, like I said, he would like to play that game all day long, if he could. Had changed battery. Telling you. It's crazy today. What do you think about the whole thing with what's going on in Texas with the Democrats? I do think it's funny because a couple of years ago they gerrymandered the districts to benefit the Democrats. And of course the Republicans there in Texas are gerrymandering the districts again to be more favorable for Republicans. And, you know, supposedly the Democrats walked out because they're standing up for democracy. Blah, 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 blah. We're trying to protect and all that nonsense. Well, unfortunately, gerrymandering is perfectly legal. It's allowable by law. So, you know, then you have the governor. I always find it interesting because Texas Constitution is a little bit different than most states. It does allow him to find that the Democrats walked off the job, abandoned the job. You know, any senator, whether it's Republican or Democrat, regardless whether the governor is Democrat or Republican or independent, they all have the option. They don't show up for work and do what they're supposed to do, then you can basically fire them, get rid of them, say they've abandoned their position, and put in other people in their place, which most doubtedly would be Republican. But I just find it interesting, the games that both sides play, political games. And there's a part of me that goes, you know, Democrats, Republicans, if you are doing something that your constituents like or feel is good for them, they're going to vote for you regardless of what party you're in. But apparently they don't see it that way. So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting what happens. Especially since I think the timeline's already passed. I think they had to be back, you know, in their seats this afternoon. So we'll see if they did show up or not. What happens there? Then he's also planning on charging them. I can't remember what he was going to charge them with. Brain fart. But basically, it looks like they're soliciting funds to help them either stay on the run or pay for fines because they're being fined. Which I think they should be fined if they're not showing up for the work. I mean, the rest of us would get fired. We might get put on a little leave, a little sabbatical to teach us a lesson. Always found those funny. I was late for work 3 times in a row, so you're going to give me 3 days off unpaid? Thank you. I can use the vacation. Paid or unpaid. I don't care. But, so yeah, should be interesting. Because apparently soliciting for money, the way that they're doing, is against the law in Texas. I used to live in Texas many years ago, It's been a while, so I haven't really kept up with things that are going on politically there. You know, new laws, those kind of things, but guess we'll all be experts pretty soon anyway. You know how that goes. Alright. Let's get this cherry red on here. I had someone ask me, are you sure it's cherry red? Well, might be holly berry, because those two are pretty close. But I do think it's cherry red. Feels like it. Holly berry is a little softer. A little more drapey, I guess, than what this feels. So, I think it'll be interesting to see if Hamas actually allows the food to be delivered, or if they steal it right out from under the people. That's basically what they've been doing all along, you know. Israel was working on getting some medical supplies and food supplies into the Gazans. But generally what happens is the Hamas comes in, steals truckload by truckload, and then they resell it on the market to make money to provide for their killing machine. So, anyway, here's hoping it actually gets to the people it needs to go to. And they're not starving. They're not in a famine. Yemen, however, is in a famine. Ethiopia has been in a famine for years and years and years. But people on the left don't care about that. We don't see them working to try to help that, to stop that, but I don't know if there's an easy answer for some of this. Let's see. Got some brown here. I don't see another brown. Maybe I'll put these two together. This is almost a, I don't know what you would call it. It's a really light brown. But, well, I'll work that in. And then we'll put the darker brown behind it. I'd gone to, when I was at Walmart today, I was having to pick up some things for my CPAP. Most of the supplies for the CPAP come, but I don't like, they have some special, and they're basically, it's just plain wipes that have water and aloe on them. They sell like maybe, what is it, 60 counts small wipes through the CPAP store for, I want to say, about $7 or $8. Walmart has a baby wipe that is basically the same thing. It's It's just water and aloe leaf. You know, the juice from the aloe. Which you get like 180 wipes for like $1.88. So I was in picking up some of those, basically to clean the nose pads in between nightly use. While I was in there, I stopped over to look at the, so one of the things I like to do is I like to look at the, oh, that's not even brown, that's burgundy. Well, we're not going to put that there. Thought it was brown. I can't see. It's dark. Well, that's kind of a brown, but I don't think I'm going to put that in there yet. There we go. There's a brown. I knew I'd find one if I looked deep enough because I knew there was one in there. But looking at some of the clearance things, and I think they had sheets in there for, it was a sheet set, you know, with the pillowcases. They wanted like $35, and they were originally $42.50. I'm like, that's supposed to be the clearance price? Wow. And one of the things that I was also looking for, because I've been seeing this, quite a few reels have come across, that Walmart is removing the price tags off of clothing. You know, when the price tag's this way and it's got a little tag that shows how much it costs, they're removing that to where you have to use the app to find the price of the clothing. And I'm like, nope, I won't be buying. I'm not going to sit there and have to scan everything in the app every time I go shopping. There's a part of me that goes, what on earth is Walmart thinking? I mean, I know what they're thinking. They'll be able to raise the prices anytime they want. You know, and nobody will be none the wiser. Which, Walmart is already selling things, trying to use the idea that it's the tariffs that cost more, make it cost more. Tariffs just went into effect the other day. So I'm not sure how the tariffs are causing that to be higher yet. Besides that, if you're getting a lot of things in the U.S. anyway, that are U.S. made, there's no tariff on that. I mean, good grief. People say, yeah, but you know, if they had to bring the stuff in from another country, there's tariff on that. Well, yeah, that might be so. But generally, companies figure that in the cost when they sell it wholesale to the retailers. This color is called Old Gold. Kind of looks almost like, what's the name of that one? Goose turd? Whatever. Well, now where did my band? Well, my rubber band went somewhere. I have no clue. I have to play it by ear. I don't like when that happens. I think it's in my other piece. I might have flipped it off somewhere. Who knows? I do strange things like that. Hang on a second. Found it. Cat was trying to take off with it. Anyway, so there's no tariffs on those kind of things. A lot of food goods that we get, a lot of those come from within the U.S. There's no tariffs. If there's anything we get from Canada or Mexico, there might be tariffs, but that's doubtful. And generally, I don't think 10%, 15% is that big a deal. Of course, Canada, I don't know what you guys are doing up there. You guys are a little on the wackadoodle side, it seems. You know, with the guy that you put in place, your prime minister, some of the things he's saying and calling for. I don't know. Good luck with that. My nose is stuffy. Not sure why that is. Although it is allergy season for me. Of course, it's always allergy season for me. I have allergies year round. What do they call that? Hay fever? Just one of those lucky ones. So anyway, I'm doing more untangling than anything. I went and looked at the new stitch that Creative Grandma put out there, the double down. That's a nice looking stitch. Looks like it's somewhat mindless. You can remember that you have to do 2 rows to get it done. So, do like that. Was thinking about making something out of that. Because it looks nice. I want to see how it looks with different colors. You know, with the rainbow. And I am so glad that Cody has joined Glenda on her adventures. That's fun to see. To see Cody grow as a crocheter and just as an artist in general. That's just really nice to see. And I had a lot more people pass away this week. You know, started with Lonnie Anderson, and makes you wonder who's going to be next, since they do seem to come in 3s and 4s. Although last week I think we had 5 or 6. It was crazy. But sat here and was sitting there thinking about, she was 79 years old, just 2 days shy of her 80th birthday. And there's a part of me that goes, really? What happened? Where did I lose time? I just didn't think of her being that age. You know? I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting old. I don't recognize any of these new people coming up in the celebrity world. Of course, I've never really thought a lot about celebrities. Yeah, I had my crushes, you know, like Bobby Sherman, David Cassidy. You know, a couple of those like that here and there. Donny Osmond, I thought he was cute. But it's like, when did I get old? You know? Now I sound like my grandmother. When someone says something about somebody that's, you know, popular today in celebrity world, I'm like, who's that? Never. So I do find that funny. It's so hard to keep up with things going on in the world today. Isn't it? Yeah. What do y'all think about the spaceship that's coming? I was talking with a friend today in Walmart about that, and she goes, I hadn't heard that. I said, oh yeah, it's supposed to come in November. Now they've moved the date up to September because of how fast it's moving. It's hurtling toward Earth. Now, what I would like to know is, NASA scientists have said that they're going to be hostile. How do they know that? Did they get some kind of messages, you know, through the space verse that we don't know about, threatening us? I mean, are we going to get to see a real day Independence Day movie play out in our skies? However, the story that I did with the ring yesterday, I did find that funny because it does make you stop and think with everything that you're hearing with this stuff with NASA and everything. What would Americans do? What would our world do if we were suddenly there was a big mothership hovering outside of our space area? What would happen? Would there be worldwide panic? You know? And my other thoughts would be, what would they think looking down on humans? I mean, we're a crazy bunch. Just are. Do you have a skein of this gray that I'm going to ball up? But I do need to find the center. Oh, look there. Volunteered. Volunteered right there to come right on out. So I just kind of wonder, you know, are people going to be acting like fools? And I used to laugh because I watch the movie quite frequently because it's one of my favorite movies, along with Battleship. Sorry. Would we actually have people standing on the rooftops, calling them down and holding signs and doing silly stuff like that? Will the tin hats come out? What do you think? What do you think would happen if that actually does become a reality? Do I think it's a spaceship? Not really. But I am curious what it looks like when it gets closer. Are the Is NASA really watching it that closely that they can send us pictures of it as it gets closer to Earth so we can see it in better detail? Is it just some kind of crazy asteroid that got flung, I don't know, got flung too far and is going too fast? And then I think I saw, were there some orbs over New Mexico the other day? Saturday, I think? And yes, I do like watching that kind of stuff, looking into it. I've just always thought that I'm not so sure that God would create just one being, human beings. The universe is so big, why wouldn't He have created others? I might be all wet behind the ears, but, you know, I do kind of wonder. Come on, behave. When it gets this big, it gets kind of annoying because the way it winds on these. Doesn't want to wind up well. May have to take it off. Yep, gonna have to take it off and hand wind the wrist. And that's okay. Sometimes you gotta do it. But, so what do you guys think about that? Are you curious? Do you think it's a bunch of hooey balooey? It's another thing I like, words like that. Hooey balooey. That's a rather interesting word, don't you think? Well, folks, my sinuses are really bothering me, and I'm really clogging up. I don't know if there's something in this yarn or what, so I am gonna let you go for now. In the meantime, I'll see you again soon. I had planned on having the bags up in the shop Tuesday. Looks like they're not going to get up in the shop until Wednesday, possibly. So, but I will do a shop update at that point. All right, everybody have a great week, and remember, be kind.